Say hi to James. Made me an entrepreneur. Teaching me day after day after day till it all was a blur. Now he on tour, he could drop in your city tonight. Never the Zen coming in for the fight. Making that powerful statement, saying that you meant for greatness. Better be ready for absolute.
Good morning. Listen, for everyone that has been blessed to wake up and open your eyes, this is a blessing for you. Today is a gift that God gave you so that you can be a gift, a blessing to someone else. Be present, be ever present, because the only way for you to get from one place to the next in goodness and greatness is to purposely go after your goals. Most of us wake up in the idea without knowing what it means to be worth it. To be worth it means to be worth the sacrifice others have made to open up doors for you. To be worth it is to understand that if God gave you breath, He's made you worthwhile. He made you His focus. You are His gift to the rest of the world, but you have to use your gifts in this world. It is not enough for you to have talent and ability and to keep it locked in and wonder what would have been. No, you're worth it. It's worth going through every hell, every trial, every tribulation that you go through to unearth your abilities, your talents, and to bring them forth. That's why every time we come live, every time you listen to a video, it's about bringing out the best in you. In order to get to the best in you, we got to test you. You got to go through something. And when you go through it, you become more, you become better, you become stronger. That's why the mantra of absolute motivation is simple. It is motivation that moves you. It moves you to action. We're not just a channel that gets you hyped. We provide you with access to growth and development. Your business requires the best of you. Your life requires it. Your children require it. Hell, bloodlines require it. You got to be worth it. Do something with the talent that God gave you. Talking about talent is what brought me to this moment here to bring on people that impact life in a major and massive way. I want to introduce you to someone who has been able to stand on stages around the globe, minister to people, and cause them to go from one state to the next. People say, man, what a soulful voice. That's the description they have given for the Miss Jessica Reedy, one of the greatest songwriters and gospel artists to ever exist. But she's more than that. People will sit there and listen to a songbird and say, man, what an amazing thing. You drew us closer without realizing what it cost them to be them. But what happens when the person who inspires aspires to do more than be a sound? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the one, the only, the gospel great and beyond, Jessica Reedy. Good
Oh,
morning.
James, what an introduction. Ow!
Well, I'm glad you're here, man, and I'm honored
Thank
to
you.
have you. In fact,
Thank you.
when we say gospel music, people often think of just, music that goes to church. But I
hmm
believe you're more than that. I believe that the gifts and the talents and what God gave you goes beyond the four walls of a church. Would you agree?
I would agree. I don't think that that's a proper representation to believe that God only makes us one way. We're made in His image, so with many, many things, and there's many things we can do. It just takes courage, because
Mm.
when you are able to excel in one area and you can check that off, people want to lock you there. So it takes courage to reintroduce yourself to them in another way.
Wow.
So Throughout my life, I have tried to display courage. And the end of one thing is a beginning of another thing that causes grief, and it causes this moment of pause and reflection. And you have to have courage to walk through the invisible doors, and say, "Hi, my name is Jessica Reedy, but I do this, and I'm equally as impactful." Yeah, it's just courage. It takes a lot of courage.
Let me ask you something. Speaking of courage, oftentimes people look at us and think of there's one thing that you bring to talent. You have a
Mhm.
talent, so they think it came easy.
Yeah.
Having the gifts that you have, what does it cost you to be you?
Well, not to spook anybody, I don't know what you believe. I don't know where you are in your life. But everything has a cost. Every word that is spoken is coming from a bucket of reservoir.
Mm,
Everything that is coming out is leaving. So if there is no restoration, if there is no place to replug, to recharge, to quench thirst, to go and refuel, what happens if you are depleted?
mm,
Every kind word comes to us from a sacrifice. Anytime I've met someone and I've had the courage to tell them the things God wants me to tell them. Anytime I've stood on the stage and I have sang with a broken heart, it has always come at a cross that I've had to carry, because I have to stay sensitive to the feeling of pain. Otherwise, after a while, it just becomes a thing that you're doing. You become
mm.
really, really good at what you're good at. And my prayer has always been to be authentic. I don't want to get so used to my day that a new day is not a new day. It's just another one.
Boy,
Here's
wait a minute.
another one of
I
those
don't want to
days.
get so used to today that new. Say that again, because that can impact somebody.
I
Say that
don't
again.
want to get I don't want to get so used to today that a new day is just another one.
Wow.
Just another day. It's just another day.
No, there's more
You
than
know.
that. In fact, this is one of the things that as people are listening, I know you're wondering, like, man, how is it that these people aspire? They stand on stage and get all this attention, and I got to tell you, this is one thing. There are people who says, "I wish I could just step into your shoes. I wish I could do that." But you would tell them, why is it that you're like, you don't want to wish to be in someone else's shoes?
Oh man. James, the private conversations with yourself, with God, where you question your existence.
Mm,
Because in order to breathe an air that nobody else can fly, that means they're looking up at you. That means if they're looking up at you, who are you looking up to?
mm,
Who has excelled higher than you to be able to understand your language and their language? When you have to inspire somebody, you have to be in a position where they are inspiring to reach that place, go that place. That means I'm not where you are. So where am I? And who's here with me? So where you are, there may be many, but where I am inspiring you, who's with me? So
right.
that takes courage to stand consistently, to stay consistently, to say, I'm not going to move because you're worth it. You're worth me staying here. You're worth me being here. Yeah, I cry at night because I wonder, do anybody else speak this language? Is it just me?
Mm.
Does anybody else understand the many attacks that come from those who actually need me?
Well,
And sometimes go ahead, James.
no, no. Sometimes what? Say the part.
Sometimes it's like, you know, I have children. So I got these three boys, right? And these boys do not know that I've already lived the lives that they're aspiring to live. So I have a different type of knowledge and understanding. And when I'm telling my son something very matter of fact, I'm met with their doubt. I'm met with their sadness. Sometimes they're little insults. And you mean and you don't love me. Now put that on an adult scale.
Mm.
When you have insight and you have the ability to navigate a person out of their dark spaces, but they don't understand. So you're met with their fears and their doubts and their insults and their offenses and their lack of understanding and their closed mindedness. Imagine how more powerful it is coming from an adult than a child. And yet you still have to stand and
Mm.
say, I still know what's best. I'm still going to tell you what's best for you. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Come on, listen. I want to take this whole thing about a child. It's amazing. I ran into a teenager in Nashville. We were there at an event. I was speaking, and there was a teenager came over and said, "Let me ask you, what are the keys to success?" And I ended up saying, I think it was like, you got to work out. You got to work out and you got to work in. He was like, what does that mean? Workout is work out your issues, deal with them publicly, privately, whatever. Be authentic, transparent, not over disclosing to people who haven't paid a price invested in you to get that return on investment, but also work. So it's work out and work within. And I was like, get up in the morning, work out, because you need to stay in shape. You got to battle ahead, and you got to be battle ready and battle tested because the tests come. And then and he goes, "Oh my God!" And he started writing it down. And his dad goes, "I've been saying that every morning for the last 18 years, and he's over here acting like he'd never heard this before." And I look at his dad, and
Yeah.
his dad is a bodybuilder. I'm like, yeah, his dad is like, you know what? I give up. But we have to understand that sometimes people can be so accustomed to hearing your voice that
Hmm.
it goes dull to them.
Yeah.
And in spite of the passion, in spite of the love, but yet then once that person is gone, my grandmother used to speak life into me, speak over me. And as a teenager, I'd get tired of hearing her say, I know, I know, I know. Here she go again. I didn't even want to hear her say it. And now as a grown man, I look back and I say, I wish I could have that voice again.
Hmm. Hmm. I
Have you?
think that I think James is it's so necessary to allow space for growth. Imagine a farmer going outside in the scorching sun, planting a seed, and then knowing the forecast of the rain. Yet he hurries himself, he waters it. He know rain is coming, but he waters it and then he sits there and he just watches it all day long.
Mm,
Imagine how much more he could do if he looked at the rest of the field and say, "Let me continue to plant. The water is coming. The sun has not failed to rise and set. The growth will be there." One of my issues, if I can be transparent, is I'm the farmer that watches the seed. I plant it and I'm so invested. I gotta make sure it grow. Wait, wait, wait. There's a weed. There's a weed. Not knowing that that weed makes that root even stronger. That
mm.
if that plant can survive that weed, it is strong. But I'm pulling the weed. I'm not only pulling the weed, but I'm saying no. Maybe I need to take it up and put it somewhere else. It don't seem like it's good lighting right here. Yeah, I might need to replant it somewhere else. Each time it got to start over, reconnect, and
But isn't that
having.
what happens when every time we start thinking that maybe I need to relocate? If I move to New York, if I move to California, if I show up in Las Vegas, if I could just get there, because all of
Right.
our lives we have
Okay.
made these assumptions. Let me give you the assumption. There's people who have said, "Listen, if you want to be an actor or an actress, where do you need to move to?"
LA.
Right. They'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
People will tell you if you want to be an athlete, go here, do that. If you want to be a minority in business, go to Atlanta. All these different things are assumptions. So let me free everyone of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you are planted, you can grow. And wherever God puts you, you can triple your worth on God's green earth just
Mm-hmm.
by who you are and what you are. The
Mm-hmm.
internet has made it so that you can be known anywhere at any time, at any moment, but your gift will make room for you, but only your character can keep you in that room.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I wanted to share something with you. We're talking about making impact. And one of the young men that I met this weekend, his name is Marty. Marty heads the International Christian Film and Music Festival. We were in Nashville, Tennessee. Marty, where are you? Show up, sir. There he is. Oh my goodness.
Good
Marty,
morning,
it's
good
so good to
morning, good
see you.
morning, Jessica.
Hello. Good morning. Hi.
Good.
Marty, tell us a little bit about the International Christian and Music Film Festival.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, James. You've been an incredible and inspiration to me and many others, of course. Well, the International Christian Film and Music Festival was created first and foremost to honor Christ through film and music, and also to give exposure to these films, because there's so many films that are created and we don't know about them. Because a lot of times we're like, where are these films? Like, I don't have any choice. We have to watch this, we have to watch that. There's no film for me. And that's what we do, is to expose these really amazing films that are being created. This is our we going on to our 13th year in 2025, and typically we would screen over 100 films. It's like, where are those films? So we want to make sure that we also want to make sure that these filmmakers, upcoming filmmakers, have the tools. So we invite guests that have done it so that they can learn from them and connect.
Wait a minute, you didn't just say guests. Tell me who some of those guests are, because those are not just regular people. You're grabbing people who are iconic. Tell them a little bit about the people.
Well, for example, this past week we have Neil McDonough, um, who has done so much in Hollywood and still doing so much in
That's
Hollywood,
right. Yeah,
and and is still doing it also in the Christian film world. We've had Kevin Sorbo. We've had some of the biggest names in Hollywood that are Christians
yeah.
attend, so that we can learn from them.
Well,
We
you
can
said
learn.
something. I had to interrupt and say,
Yeah.
Neil is not just it's not a has-been. Oftentimes, people come and talk Christianity when their career is over as a last crowd that you can go to. But
Mhm.
Neil is in the height of being the greatest villain of all time, and and it's just the opposite of who he is, the way he is. But while he is thriving in that role, he's serving in this role.
Mhm.
Yeah, Neil Neil has always stand up for what he believes, and that's why he couldn't get certain roles.
That's right.
He stood his ground and say, "Hey, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say these words."
Yeah.
But yet he still found success, because it's not depending on Hollywood. God will provide success no matter where you are, as
Now,
long as you stand your ground.
Mhm.
right now, well, listen. When you say stand your ground, I want to make sure people understand that standing your ground will cost you.
Yes.
When Neil said, "I will not kiss another woman on set unless it's my wife," Hollywood was like, "Well, then you'll never get a paycheck." And it got to the point where it cost him, and he was losing everything. And then he was like, "It will make you get to the point where you question,
Yep.
did I do the right thing? Could I have just done? It is, after all, just acting." Everyone gets it. It is just this or just that, or it's just this once. But because he stood his ground the day after he prayed, because he was like, "God, I feel like this is overwhelming. I'm losing finances. I'm losing this, that, and the other." God gave him back child support. Because when you're God's child, he takes care of you. The father always remembers what he owes. And he paid him back by giving him bigger opportunities than ever before, because he stood his ground. And that's where you guys bring people to the solid ground of the cross, and you share with them music and film. And so we had him. Who else did you have there?
Well, we've had Lou Gossett. Well, this past year or just in
This
general?
is your past year. I know you've had a Hall of Fame of everybody. Yeah.
We've had Ken Carpenter, who produced. I don't know if anybody saw The Shift, and he has done a lot of movies. We also had a beautiful video from Andrew Orwin, who did I Can Only Imagine. He did Jesus Revolution. I mean, just some of the biggest movies
Massive.
that that we have seen. So I think it's important for us to learn from these folks, because they have a story to tell. They've been through the fire. They've been refined. So we
Yes.
don't have to go through the same fire that they went through, and that is the
That's
whole point. Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, this is why. What do you have coming up next? What's next?
So we are on this ICFF tour. So we were in Los Angeles. We did an event in Los Angeles. We just finished an event in Nashville. And up next, October 12th, we're in Atlanta. Uh,
Oh, that's gonna be good. Man,
yeah.
I know Absolute Motivation will be there. We're looking forward to it. Serving, man, impacting lives. And
Yes.
speaking of Lou Gossett Jr., Jessica, I'm sorry, would you, Marty, we got to get Jessica to come serve
Jessica,
this
come
weekend.
on now. Come on. It's Atlanta.
Yeah,
Marty, I would be honored too. I would be honored. I really would. It
man,
just as long as you make sure James comes through the side door. You make sure he comes through the side door. I'm telling you right
no,
now, I will be there. I will
I
absolutely.
don't even know where that comes from. It doesn't make
No,
sense,
Jersey,
Marty.
because you think I didn't just hear that joke. Marty, you
No,
really be
no,
cracking
Marty,
jokes?
no,
No,
Marty
Marty, do
mentioned,
you know he crack jokes?
Marty,
And he
didn't
be
you
real
mention
slick,
Lou
Marty.
Gossett
You
Jr.?
gotta catch him.
I did
No.
mention Lou. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. Yeah, she misinterpreted. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad, Marty, you cleared that up for us. Oftentimes, we have to remember sometimes uh, people will. There's a saying that hit dogs holler when people think that you're
You
talking.
see, hold on, Marty. You see, he slides him in.
He's doing
Did
it
you
again,
hear?
huh? He's doing it
Did you
again.
hear?
Well, I would tell you guys this, man. One of the greatest joys is serving God and serving man.
Amen.
Because in order to serve God, you got to serve people. That's what you're called to do. If you want to be a speaker, you got to serve people. You want to impact lives, then you got to be an impacted life. And no one does it alone. It's relationship building. For everyone that feels that there's an excuse of why you haven't made it. If I weren't black, if I weren't this, if I weren't disabled. Listen, it has nothing to do with that. Whatever it is that however you are made, you've been made specifically and uniquely to be impactful on this earth as you are. I wasted a lot of years being frustrated that I was born with a disability, wondering what would life be like if I didn't have it. The truth is, the disability made you find other abilities, and then all of a sudden, those things that you elevate and you realize the very thing you were ashamed of is what God uses to give you a name.
Yeah.
And then when you get it, you realize that fame isn't what you want; it's impact, because everyone's life comes to an end.
Right.
In your name, no matter how big you are in one city or one particular time, there comes a new season on a show, there comes a new person that comes on, but there's one name that will resound throughout history. And the more you're tied into that one name, that's how you make an impact. For everyone to say, man, I'm not a Christian James, I hear you pushing it. I am pushing you to be a person of change. I'm pushing you to be more so you can serve more. I desire to see that every individual become something because they went through something. That's what motivation should be about. Motivated to move and do something.
Yeah.
You can't just go into an office and think that you'll become the number one salesperson by sitting in a cubicle.
Right.
It's by getting used to hearing people tell you no and realize they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the offer. And then you learn how to share the offer in a way that benefits people
Right.
and not just on features. People don't buy products, they buy you.
Hmm.
Find out what it is you have. The International Christian Film Festival simply exists to open up doors for people.
Yes.
Marty, I saw you were, if you wanted to be an actor, you wanted in?
Yes.
There's an opportunity to do so without you having to do something that is against your moral compass.
That's right.
I saw directors there. I saw there were people getting auditions. My son got offered 2 auditions just by being present.
Right.
I,
That's exactly what happens. I think a lot of times people think that, um, you know, it's too hard. I've tried it. Yeah, it's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, then you don't have a story. What's your
Mm,
story? If you just go through it and everything happens, you're going to think, oh, I did it all and not God. If it's
mm.
hard, then God is telling you to go certain ways, and then you know that it's Him. It could not possibly be you. And I think that's the key. And I see so many people give up that are so talented
Talk, man.
because
Talk.
it's hard. Yes, it's supposed to be hard. You know about that, James.
This
It's
is why we're
supposed to be.
talking about it. Is like, uh, if it were easy, there would be no story behind it.
Exactly.
Someone would come up to you and say, so how'd you learn to sing? I just woke up doing it. And there, you know how many people though have gotten up and you thought they could sing because they like I get people all the time, they say, James, you have a wonderful voice. I'm like, thank you, thank you. They say, I bet you can sing. And I'm like, doggone. I can Kirk Franklin. I
Right.
can't sing. I don't know if that's called singing, but this is what's crazy. When nowadays there was a song that Gotti Royce moved, just took a speech of mine and made songs off of it. Didn't make sense to me at all, but he did so, right? So then when you Google me, it comes up that I'm a musical artist. I was like, wow. See, the world will frame you around something, make assumptions, but if the world can name you, they can make you. You have to understand who you are, and the name that I represent is not only his name, but it is also my last name.
Mhm.
My last name is on loan to me. I have to leave it so that my sons inherit more than just words. They have to also inherit the word, and they also have to inherit something tangible. I'm leaving an inheritance in them and for them. And what the International Christian Film Festival does, it leaves an inheritance that we can all tap into. It's faith and overcoming stuff. Marty, when we were there, I heard some of the directors say um, that Hollywood is now looking for Christian films to show.
Yeah, so we are in really exciting times. And that is God at work. As we know, media is the most powerful way to influence people,
Mm.
right? So Hollywood finally realized, and it's not because they want to save lives or bring people to Christ or change lives. They realize there's an audience. There has been an audience,
Mm.
but now it's been proven. They see dollar signs. These movies are making money because these movies are changing lives. Anytime
Oh,
anything is changing lives, people are flocking to it
Mhm.
because everybody wants their lives to be changed, to be better, to become a better person.
right.
Because a lot of times you can see yourself in some of these characters. That's me.
That's it. I mean,
I
listen,
do that.
being on TV, being involved with something, it's kind
Yep.
of how, Jessica, you were the first, you got more exposure to what you were already doing through
Mhm.
television,
Yep.
Flavor of Love season 4. She was on to come on, I think it was BET's Sunday Gospel,
Yep.
and to evolve from that moment to now, and then realizing that you bring more to the table than that episode or that edition. What is it that your hopes are now, Jessica? What are you looking to do?
No, James. No, I was not on Flavor of Love. And if you think,
Wait, I
James,
didn't know.
I am not gonna let you.
These are the
Marty, Marty,
Marty
did you
sent me
hear it? Marty,
notes.
Marty, did you hear it? Did you?
I don't even know where that came from. Marty, I don't know. I just reading the notes here that Marty had
Oh my
sent me.
God.
You know what? Let's just skip that question altogether. Let's just go. At times, you know, it's about being more than doing this. Uh, Thinking it's for the moment. These people are getting careers out of it. It's not just I did a film. This can be your breakthrough to do many more things. Marty, and what's going to be available to people on October the 12th? What can they expect when they come?
The first thing is you're going to feel the Holy Spirit in the house. That is the key, right? Because it's going to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Second is you're going to have powerful speakers. We always do. Everything we do it top notch because in excellence, and that's what God expects of us. And you're going to be filled with a bunch of people that love God, that wants to connect and love on you. And you're going to leave a different person than you came.
That's a win.
Mhm.
That
I
is what's
appreciate
going
it.
to happen.
That's going to be good.
It's
And
going to be
so,
great.
will the incomparable Neil McDonough be there?
Well, you just might. We'll see.
We'll wait to make the announcements, man.
We'll see.
But I know he said I'm all in, whatever it takes. So, Marty, man, it's been great having you. It's
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
have met you for the impact that you're trying to make and that you're continually making. And the reason why I say trying, because it's not done yet.
That's
This is
right.
just the beginning.
That's right.
Thank you for taking time. Thank you for doing all that you do to impact lives. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Marty from the International Christian Film and Music Festival.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for being
Jessica.
on.
I'll see you again because I saw you at the Stellars like some years ago.
Yes, you
Yeah,
will see me again.
1988, boy, that was the year. Thank you, Marty. We'll see you
Thank
soon,
you.
my friend.
All right. God bless you.
God bless you. The Jessica, as we were talking about. Now we would move beyond the aspect of music. What other things are you working on?
No, James, we don't talk about other things that I'm working on right now because we're going to stress. I am not, for the record. Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Jessica Reedy. I was not on Flavor of Love. Okay, for those, no, I don't believe you. Now go ahead and ask your question.
As you were talking beyond gospel, what is it that you're doing? Because there's more to you than the singing. There's more to you than just standing on a stage.
Mhm.
What is it that you're doing? What is in your heart to do, or that you're working on?
Okay, so as you know, I wrote a short read, a book, because of course the attention span of our young people, people who are busy, it's quick, you know. So I wrote a book basically telling you and instructing you on how to live in the moment. I
Mm.
lost my memory after what should have been a very fatal car accident. And not only did I lose my memory, but I didn't remember my name or the names of my children for about 2.5 years. And it forced me to have to be present all the time, because I wouldn't remember the next moment. So I was just fully engaged. Like, you said your name is who? Okay, hi. You know. So and I was basically forcing my brain to create new memory space. And though God has been restoring my mind, I still have those moments where I don't remember. I can't really recall the details of yesterday. And it's the constant reminder of how important today is.
Mm.
Um, Outside of that, I wanted to create a safe space for women. Now, I know men believe that women have every type of outlet you can imagine. We got retreats and resorts and groups and all kinds of things, but we are extremely important in our households. Most women are single parents. So the men that you see today are the product of women. So whether you like them or you don't like them, they are the product of women. And so when you can heal women, then you can literally start to heal all that you see outside of your house. And so what I realize is women, we hold things. We hold our emotions, we hold our feelings, and then we explode. We're not given spaces to be transparent. I mean, truly transparent. I'm talking about the type of transparent you don't really tell anybody but God.
Mm.
But those are the areas where we need advice and we need counsel. And so I created One Day at a Time, ODAT, which allows for us to have a space where instead of you being judged for what you did last night, you're reminded that you are beautiful and you're wonderful and you have more in you. Let's see if we can get there. Here's
Well,
some
one
resources.
day at a time, right?
One day at a
So
time.
that's when you're talking about that one day at a time. ODAD is now, in order to connect with you to be a part of that community. I
Hmm.
believe on the screen we have ODAD there now and how to become a part of it.
Yes.
Well, Jessica, tell me the impact that you want to make in mentoring young women, women of all ages, but
Mhm.
young women. What is it that you hope to do? What's the impact? What's the end goal?
The end goal is the reminder. There was a you that maybe you never even knew existed because you don't remember her. But she was fearless. She was unexposed to perversion. She believed she could. She believed that nothing was impossible. And throughout life, you might have gotten glimpses of her. Moments where you said, that's enough. And you stood up, and then results happened. If we can tap into that with love and kindness, a boldness that is the type of subtle that takes over a room, not because you're loud or demanding, but because your presence is known. And you only know your presence because you know who you are. So you're not fighting to be in a room. You're not fighting to be anything other than yourself. It's that reminder that you are the gift. Like
Well,
it's you. When you walk in the room, it's you. People don't even know I sing. But my gift, who I am, brings me into these rooms. And then they wonder, so what is it that you do? Because
yeah,
I've learned that singing is not who I am.
it's what you do. It's one of the
It's,
things you do. It's
it's one.
one of the things you do. One
Yes,
of the
sir.
gifts, and many of you, you're multifaceted, you're multi-talented. Don't ever believe that you're just one thing, because what happens if that one thing is taken from you?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a basketball player, right, and that's your identity, and you stop playing basketball, then what?
Mm-hmm.
Your role and identity are two separate things. You will
Yeah.
play many roles throughout the course of life. You'll be a father, you'll be a son, you'll be an uncle, you'll be all those things. Things can happen that can take those away. But your identity, that is who you are, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, there's a young lady that approached me about mentoring her when I was in Nashville. And I thought about someone that would be a great candidate for you to mentor, and thought it'd be great to introduce you to today. So, Kiana, if you would come on board, welcome.
Hi. Hi.
Kiana
Thank you
is,
so much
I
for
met her
having me.
there in Nashville. You're welcome for coming. I wanted to say this about you. I thought it'd be great to introduce Jessica. Knows she sings to millions around the world. People have albums, have all those things. I wanted to take a moment for her to speak into your life individually. Would you, Kiana? Would you take a moment to say hello to Jessica? Jessica, say hello
Hello.
to Kiana.
Hello, Kiana.
Hi, Jessica. Thought
Can
what
you?
you were just saying
Hi.
was
Hello.
so beautiful. So beautiful. Just, I love it. And I have your song, What About Me, on my phone. And
Yeah.
it was on a previous playlist. And every time I hear it, it just blesses my spirit. So I'm grateful to be here.
Uh,
I'm so grateful to meet you. I really am. I really am so grateful to meet you. I see that you do murals.
Yes.
I, yes, that's fantastic. I look forward to knowing more about that. That's fantastic.
want you to take a moment, if you would, Jessica, and I just want you to speak life and encouragement to
Mhm.
Kiana.
So, Kiana, there is so much inside of you. There is so much inside of you, and it's going to take courage for you to ignore everything that you think you are. I want you to imagine that everything that you believe you are, you're so much more than that. And what type of mindset do you have to actually consistently believe that? That where I am, how I think, how I feel, there's a greater version of even that level. And you may not always have what you assume is support, but you are constantly supported. Every time you are resisted, every time someone feels like rejection, that's support. Don't stop here. Keep going. Just when you want to like settle in and get nice and comfortable, someone will say, no, 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 I don't want you. Don't stop
Mhm.
here. You deserve more. If you can get your mind to believe that nothing is against you, everything is for you, everybody is for you,
Mm,
anything that looks like negative is for you, the
Mhm.
positives, they're for you. If you can conceive that, if you can get your mind to say, this is all good, thank you. What a wonderful pain. Oh,
mm,
thank you so much. That was fantastic. That really hurt in the right spaces, in the right places. That got me moving today. That got me
Mhm.
changing my mind today. If you can hotwire your mind, just hotwire it. Do not believe what you've been taught to believe is fear. The new fear is you never becoming who you're supposed to be. Be afraid of that. But everything else, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful opportunity for you to let me know I shouldn't stop. That some place is waiting for me. And if I stay here, they'll never get to where they're supposed to be. And then there's generations that will never be changed because I didn't show up when I was supposed to show up. So imagine if you had said yes to me when I really wanted that yes. Imagine if you had accepted me with open arms when I really, really wanted it, not knowing that just beyond this moment, somebody was about to commit suicide, but my life being in their life changed the complete trajectory of everything that they see now. That's how impactful you are. There is no moment that you are having that is lost. I was praying today and I sat and I said, God, I want to give you a whole lot of words, but instead I would like to listen. And all I kept hearing was, Jessica, I know. And it brought tears to my eyes. Jessica, I know. He could feel the wail in my heart wanting to start listing off. But did you see this? Did you notice when they said that? Did you notice what I noticed? Because that affected Jessica, I know. That superpower of knowing that so.
There it is, man. She is encouraging, speaking
Mhm.
life into you. Kiana, one of the things I want you to do, stay encouraged, stay after your goals. And I'm talking about when I say stay, I mean when it feels like you should quit, stay. When you feel like you're down to your last check and it doesn't seem like it's all making sense, stay. And when it seems like no one supports you, stay. Because when you stay the course, then of course success comes. When you have people come in opposition, that's how you know you're going the right way. If you and everyone else are saying the same thing, if you're all going the same way, none of you are going the right way because only the masses go the wrong direction. But when you want to be more, you serve more, you become more.
Mhm.
And it's one day at a time. Jessica, thank you for returning back. Even in that
Yeah.
moment, would you tell her, how does she
Mhm.
become a part of your community? How do you become part of
Oh
one
my
day at a
goodness.
time?
Oh, you would change lives. So you go to odaat.club and you sign up. You will meet other women just
You
like
said
you. So it's
Oh,
one day at a time. So odaat.club.
one day at a time. So it's ODAT.club.
Two A's.
Two A's. ODAAT
T
a
dot
dot
club.
club.
There we go.
great.
Kiana, thank you so much for coming on. I just wanted to encourage you and surprise you with one of the heroes of the Hall of Fame of Faith there. And so, as Kiana, like many of you who are watching, we have guests that come on that, yes, you can't reach them in day out life, whatever the celebrity status, whatever they have. I want you to understand the people I bring on are people who love people, who are not defined by just one thing in their life. Their faith may be the thing that helps them function, but they function in many ways. Beyond the music, there's the entrepreneur, there's the mother, there's all the other roles that you play. And the fact that you still aspire to inspire in many other ways. I have an honor to have you on. Jessica, let me do for you what you just did for her. Thank you for coming on because you didn't have to, but yet you did. And we appreciate it. We will probably have 50,000 impressions by the time this video ends. And the people that will hear, I want them to hear this, that I'm not talking to a celebrity. I'm talking to someone who needs to be celebrated for the fact that you have the courage to say, I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep developing. I'm going to keep working at it. For the days you got up and went to the gym to work on, to the understanding that you understood that not only did you have to impact people on the outside, even when they didn't feel good on the inside. And then when you worked on your outside so that you could present to the outside world, there was always these things that you have to deal with. And yet you didn't lose your identity because you understand you are more than what you do. And so, for the person that you're becoming, for the fact that you want to touch and impact other lives, not only do I know that you will do so, but you were born to do so. If it's one day at a time, you take it one day at a time and you stack those days. And at the end of your days, there'll be a surprise from God that said, I stacked up blessings because every single day of your life you gave out. And as you gave, I began to store up. And as a result of, let me show you how the dominoes fell one day at a time and show you across the world how you ignited a fire in one that set fire in a whole nother nation. Today, guys, as you are listening, when you hear people speak into the atmosphere and positive and great stuff, and if you are in earshot of it, then it works for you as well. It's not just about hearing it for them and like, wow, that's great. I wish someone was in my life. I wish someone spoke that over me. Someone did. If you can hear it, you can adhere to it. This is why it's so important for you to feed yourself with positive thoughts and actions and modes. Surround yourself with people that are your tribe. I want to close out with this. Again, Jessica, thank you for coming on today.
Thank
You have
you.
been insightful, you've been impactful, you've been transparent. Thank you for coming on. We know we'll see you again shortly. God bless you. Listen, absolute, when I'm talking to you guys, I want to say this here. We have some amazing things coming up. This is September. September the 19th, I'll be in Indianapolis at the Invest event that is going to be held. You can go to thepeakmasterclass.com, thepeakmasterclass.com, and be able to attend. This will be impactful. If you're a business professional and you're looking to connect with people you can network with to change your net worth, that's one. Secondly, you can be challenged to be more. You need to be ignited. And when you get ignited, you can't be ignored. Make sure that you come. What's in store for you will be more than enough. You'll be thankful that you came. Make sure you do so. But I also want to say this to every person that's been watching. You see that we endeavor to bring on people who are affluent, who've done something. It's not about bringing celebrities. It's about celebrating the lives, your life, enhancing your life. It's not just listening to the video. It's about you being the. In fact, look, everyone I bring on is a preview. The full movie is you. You're the one. As you're listening, you're the person that I've been calling for. You're the person we've been praying for, believing in. When Nav and Azim, we put together the videos, the thought is, how do we change someone's life? How do we inspire you not to quit? Because some people feel like you're about to expire. Man, I don't know if this is for me. I've tried everything. I've tried to listen to stuff. I've read stuff, and I still feel depressed. When you are feeling pressed, that's when you're being squeezed into greatness. I don't know how great you'll be. Only God knows that. But I know this part. You can never be that apart from chasing after your greatness. The best you is within you. You've got to take deep breaths at times, calm yourself, and then put your thoughts and plans into motion. Get your notebook, begin to write things down, begin to believe and begin to say, man, here it is. I'm thinking about things. Instead of thinking about it, begin to write things. And when you begin to write things, you get the right things. And then, now watch this. When you write things, WRITE, then you become able to do the right things, RIGHT. That's when you stay up at night writing down those plans, because that's the way it works. I know this much, man. I'm believing in you. I'm cheering for you. Absolute motivation is motivation that moves you. When we come to Dubai on November 24th, we'll be at the Coca-Cola Arena, 15,000 people. October the 12th, I will be joining the International Christian Film Festival in Atlanta, because it's time to change the world. It's time to impact it. Can you imagine you could do exactly what I'm doing? Start telling your story, and all of a sudden, the world begins to turn around and hear you. The silence you've been living in isn't silence, it's a storage. What you have in you, if it hasn't been let out yet, is because the time is coming. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. You want to become a speaker. You want to become more, do more. Join our community. School.com/peak. School.com/peak. You join our community. Do the modules, interact with people. It's gamified. When you do one, when you communicate, the more you do those things, the more you move up. When you move in, you move up, you'll unlock things. There are modules. How to use visuals, how to speak, how to impact, how to grow. This is not from someone with opinion and all those things. This is someone who is doing it and doing it at a high level. I started off with nothing, and look at what God has done. He has enabled me to use the abilities and talents and gifts that were inherent inside of me, sharpen them up, connect with people that help me collect what's in me together so I can put it together in such a way that you could digest it. I promise you, what you will have will be amazing. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you about what's coming on Tuesday. On September 10th, I'm coming to Hollywood. At the Avalon Theater, we have the most amazing Promise to Live event. Promise to Live is what we're going to be doing, supporting Brandy Vega, one of our speakers here. When you're connected with us, whatever your hand is in, we're there with you. We support the fight to keep people from taking their lives. You matter. Your life has always mattered. You matter to me. I can't allow you to die on my watch. Not now, not today, not tomorrow. Well, you matter. Every day that you give, every moment that you have matters. And that's why we're doing the Promise to Live. If you feel like you want to give up, I'm asking you to make the promise. James, I will not take my life. I promise to give you one more day, one more chance, one more moment. And if you will, there's resources, there's help. But whatever you do, don't leave. Don't quit. Not on life. Not you. Promise to Live. Our event is so that we can help save lives. We've got huge celebrities and all those things coming. When I think about the pathway and how I got here, it's because someone told me I was worth it. I began with that. This episode began with that. And I'm ending with that. You were worth it. Whether you're in Dubai right now, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Israel, whether you're in India, whether you're in Morocco, whether you're in North America, South America, it doesn't matter. Every one of you is worth it. Every one of you is valid, and every one of you is family. I'll see you again. Absolute Motivation this coming Friday. God bless you. We'll see you then.
Say hi to James. Made me an entrepreneur. Teaching me day after day after day till it all was a blur. Now he on tour, he could drop in your city tonight. Never Zen coming in for the fight.